Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Mic check, mic check.
Hey,
Hey,
okay.
okay, I can hear you now. Okay, cool.
I
Hey,
was
how you
just,
been? How you been?
I've been good, man. How are you?
Oh, I think I'm doing well. Just trying stuff, that kind of thing. Because I played the e game Dota 2, and it's
Okay.
basically team of five, and just a lot of like learning about like communication, that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like team play.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, so you're just doing that for fun, or?
Yeah. For now, it's kind of like a casual kind of a thing, you know.
Okay,
And
nice.
then there's this whole virus shit that's going on, so got to stay at home, So
Yeah. Right.
and just gotta figure something to do, Yeah. But what about your on
How's?
your side? Yeah.
It's going pretty good. I mean, yeah, the quarantine stuff is kind of annoying, but one
Right.
minute, let's get situated here. Um, but no, it's fine. It's going all right. Hanging out with family, just hanging out, just trying to trying to be productive. Right.
Right. Cool. Like I mean, like it's the virus thing is making like, is it on your side that everyone got to like stay at home, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. For sure.
Right.
Can you go to the participants, um,
Right.
and then I think try. I think
Oh,
maybe you
allow
can.
record.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Can you do it now? Like
Let's see. Let me try. Yeah, there you go. It worked. Sweet.
Okay, cool shit. Yeah. So right
Are you
now,
recording already?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
sweet.
yeah,
Sweet.
you can do the record as well. Yeah, it's cool.
All right, sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, we're all staying home over here too. Except for like going to like do like get groceries and stuff like that. Like you can go get food, but just like drive through stuff. Like no dining food and stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So like the reason kind of like do this whole podcasting, I think I'm thinking about it, and I feel like it's good for us to like dive into conversations about like what do we do, that kind of a thing, like
Yeah.
what's our Monday to our Sundays. I really love that kind of thing. And then I don't know, man. Like every like few weeks or so, we can kind of like catch up a bit, like how has our lifestyle changed, and
Mhm.
what is in our mind. Like, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I just love that a lot, and that's why uh I have you here to like actually do this together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We missed last weekend, but we got it this one.
Yeah. Right. 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 So yeah, cool. So like,
No, I
are you thinking about doing a podcast kind of a thing for your site? Like, yeah.
yeah, I am. I'm trying to get into it. Yeah. I was gonna. I mean, this could be maybe like one of the first stuff I post on it, but maybe not my first official podcast episode. Whatever. Like, but yeah, I'm trying to. I think I might call it like my Instagram handle is the Dreaming Giant, and so I might call my podcast like Dreaming with the Giant or something like that.
Right. 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 Is there any like specific genre you're looking towards or what? So not
Uh, Not really. Like, I mean, I kind of like this a lot of like mindset type of stuff, happiness,
right.
just yeah, just pretty general, really.
Yeah, it's I mean like we
Philosophy,
can
I
keep it
like.
broad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you talk about like you like towards like philosophical kind of stuff, that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool shit. That's cool shit. And yeah, so I think I am actually like thinking about like the concepts for the whole podcasting, and I just feel like it's It would be really cool to like every time we kind of like check in with each other to like catch up about our lifestyle, how has our mindset kind of like changed, that kind of thing. Yeah, and then it's
Yeah. Okay.
in a very discussive kind of like a conversation. I just like that a lot because recently I just
For sure.
feel that whenever I look at others, like whenever I feel that people who are absolute, like saying that, oh, there's only one way to do that, and I'm just like
Yeah.
thinking it's like that's not how a conversation should be, like
Exactly. Yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
we're talking about basically one-to-one kind of a person like me and another guy. I always feel that it is better to make it like a discussive type of a conversation
For sure.
that, yeah,
For sure.
and then sharing both points of view, that's not like just solely based on one person's point of view when that guy it's being way too absolute or what's or not. That's not how it should
Yeah.
turn out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
feel that for
right,
sure. I
right,
I like to discuss a lot, and sometimes this discussions lean even a little bit towards arguments. Nobody ever wants to keep doing it with me though. Like they get tired of having the conversation. So this is why I want to do podcasts and stuff, so I can have people on, and I can talk to multiple people a day and about like intellectual things that most like my family will put up for with it for a little bit, but then they'll get bored. So by having people like-minded people on and stuff, I'll be able to,
right,
share
right.
share my thoughts and yeah. So
Yeah, I feel the same too. Like it's very hard for me to kind of like find people who can like get into this type of conversation, which is why this whole podcasting may kind of help us in a like a big
yeah,
way,
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
right, right,
Yeah.
right,
So all right. So you want to get into talking about like how your mindset recently or stuff like
right,
that.
right. So has like your lifestyle that's definitely has changed, yeah, since it's like I mean the virus shit kicks in and then like you can't do the sports that you are like used to
Yeah.
be doing, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's changed and then what's up now though. Yeah,
Okay, so I mean, last time we talked, I mean, I was already back home. I was not doing sports anymore,
right,
but I think somewhere in there, I played a game called horseshoes, where you take like a horseshoe and you throw it around like a metal rod, like that's like 30 feet away or something. And just doing that, I kind of messed up my arm a little bit, like not seriously, but it was kind of like bothering me. So I haven't been like practicing the actual javelin, but I've just been working out, just trying to do as much as I can. I'm missing the weight room, right? Because usually focus on getting strong and getting that weight higher, just so I could be more explosive and just for competition. But I haven't been able to go to the gym because of this quarantine stuff. So
right.
just kind of making do with other exercises. Um, and
Like
I
those
mean,
home
yeah,
workouts, right?
yeah, 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 pretty much. We kind of have a little bit like of a home gym. So there's like some machines that we have a little bit. So it makes it like not horrible, but definitely not what I want to be. What what I could be doing, right? Yeah. So I mean, and I've just been kind of working up to get to starting the podcast, and then along the way, like I constantly have thoughts just about like just different sort of thoughts on why we have insecurities and where they're coming from.
Yeah, mental health
Um,
is such a big thing and it's so underrated kind of
yeah,
a thing.
yeah, for sure. So I mean, one of the thoughts that I've had recently, like if like all the people talk about perspective, like all the gurus and all this stuff, they talk about perspective is like key, right? And so whenever I was, so I um when I kind of struggle with insecurities when it comes to like the way I look, right? Like
Right,
my body, right? Like I have a good body, right? But I used to not, and so that kind of just messed up my mindset to where it's like it's always not good enough, right?
right.
So, but I am aware of this, and so then I like to think about where these thoughts are coming from and how to overcome them and stuff. And one of the thoughts that I had recently was that if you shift, like if you start to like look in the mirror, right, and see everything wrong with yourself, and like have that sort of like self hate kind of, um, like a good way to get over that, or to maybe basically focus on a different thing, is to shift your perspective and to look at everything good about yourself, right? So if every time you start to look at the things that you're insecure about, and you just shift to the things that you love about yourself, then it like if you just basically have gratitude for, like, I have,
Right.
for everything you have, like I have all my limbs that work, right? And I'm attractive, right? And like, I mean, if you just focus on everything that's good, and you just really let that, you really internalize what you think is good, then that perspective will shift, and then you'll no longer be obsessing about the things that you're insecure about. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, definitely. I really like about like internalizing like the things that's in us, like really like assessing properly, digesting
Hmm.
stuff in
Yeah,
general.
for sure.
I just love that, because it's being honest with yourself, like how you're
Oh
feeling,
yeah.
and that's something
Oh,
that I'm
it's
big
it's
onto. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, being honest with yourself is vital. Like I made an Instagram post on my writing Instagram before,
Right.
and it was like I was growing out the beard, right? And this was I was growing it out for like for the track season, right? And so, but I was just like growing it out and not trimming it at all, right? Because that was like the thing we were doing, me and my teammate. And so I did a picture where I wrote a little thing about, it was like, here, dummy. I'll just read it real quick.
Cool.
Um,
Cool.
it's just short. Uh, so I say, let's see. Here's the picture, if you can see it, kind of.
Right.
Uh,
I see
right.
it.
And so I said, I stand in the bathroom looking into the mirror. Although I'm looking, I'm not actually seeing. I'm not seeing myself, but rather I'm thinking about how attractive I am compared to others. I wish my beard connected. Like right here, the beard doesn't like fill in all the way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's so that's okay. Why do my shoulder muscles not look round in the ideal way? My stomach sure looks big when I let it relax. In one side of my face Is one side of my face different from the other? These thoughts place me in a trance-like state of insecurity. I'm unable to pull my eyes from the mirror as I try to justify or explain to myself that I do look good. My beard isn't that bad. It connects on the other side. My shoulder muscles are better than they used to be. Of course, my stomach looks big relaxed. That's normal. And everyone has an uneven face. These thoughts, however, are unable to penetrate the perpetual insecurity. So
Right.
I wrote that, right? And at the time, I was like, thought that it was, going in, like trying to, uh, talk yourself up was a good thing. And I realized that actually what you're doing is you're lying to yourself. Like you'll go in the mirror and you'll try to you try to fit your face into the ideal, right? You'll try to see the things, and this is kind of like counterintuitive to what I just said. So, but um, well, that is actually looking at the good things, not looking at the bad things, and trying to lie to yourself that they are good enough, right? So that tension between your subconscious and your conscious. So you're trying to convince yourself that you are something that you're not, and you're not. So you're trying to convince yourself, and you
Right.
just can't, and that creates like a self hatred, because you're battling inside with, because you're not this, but you're trying to convince yourself that this, and so that is just clashing, and that
Right.
creates, I think that perpetuates the insecurities actually,
Right.
instead of like helping you overcome them.
Right. I mean, like we can play a lot of tricks into our mind, that kind of thing. Like it's about perspective, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I totally am into like this type of thing. Like how does like the mind like actually plays, and then how does that affect your behavior? I'm
Yeah.
thinking a lot about that, and I don't really like fully understand about this. But you know, it's it's just I just feel like when we look for good, and you have the perspective of like looking for good, and you are being honest and true to yourself, I think that's
Yeah.
what it like truly matters to me, like
Yeah.
as long as we are very honest, like okay, it's not good, but we can't have like negative association to like things that is not good. Like at least we're trying, like we are
Hmm.
improving ourselves. You talk about
Exactly.
like you going to the gym to get better and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and although
Yeah.
it's not ideal on your shoulder or whatsoever, I just think that when we look for good, and as long as we know we are trying, we shouldn't overjudge ourselves way too much.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure,
feel.
for sure.
Right.
Um, I talk about last time about the truth hurts. I'd say did I talk about that?
Oh, you can talk about it
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So the reason, right, like that truth hurts so much, right, is because we've been we've been lying to ourselves constantly, like trying to convince ourselves of something, right, that we know is true, and then someone goes and they say exactly what you've been trying to convince yourself that that's not true, and when they say that, it shatters that uh, flimsy facade that you had put on to convince yourself that you were not this thing, and it shatters it, and so now you have an outside force telling you that the truth, and so now this layer of lies is just getting destroyed, and so you can't handle that, and that's why we act out whenever someone calls us on the truth. That's why it hurts so bad, right? Because it's like you're shattering the thing that I've been spending so much time to get past, or to convince myself of, that I know is not true.
Right. Like a truth will just like come to the end, like it will come out at the end. It's there. Like you can't
For
just
sure.
like erase it, that kind of a thing. And
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
big onto that, Yeah.
Yeah, I think just sharing every like oversharing, I think is a good thing. Just
Right, right.
sharing sharing everything, like all your insecurities and stuff, because once they're out there, they can't affect you near as bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you put it out there, like no, like you put all the shit about yourself, like nobody can shit you even further, because you already have
exactly,
it, like put
exactly.
yourself down
Yeah,
onto that position. That's no one can like flame you, and you won't like that's because I know that humans have this brain that will like kind of like mind fuck us a lot of times, like saying that, oh, what if that person think about my stuff, like the bad things about me,
yeah,
and that kind of
yeah.
thing, that mental kind of a thing will kind of like go off if we kind of like put it out there, and
Hmm.
we kind of
Yeah,
like share it. Like I just love that.
yeah, yeah. Because if you just kind of show everybody the truth of what is actually happening, then you don't have to be worried about someone seeing through the facade that you're putting up. Like all the people on Instagram that will post like all the perfect stuff of themselves, right?
Right.
I'm that creates kind of a internal turmoil that, like, oh, maybe someone will see that this is fake, right? Like it's like you're fronting, and the fronting just it creates a internal battle with yourself, and it's just not healthy, right? Like, I mean, everything I have on my Instagram right now is guilty of that, right? Because I haven't posted anything in my enlightened in state. I used to we go to the lake every summer, and
Right.
um I will catch a fish, and then I'll pose without my shirt on, right? To get like positive feedback or whatever. And then this last time I went, I realized that that was not healthy, right? Like just wanting to get positive reinforcement, living off that is not healthy. And so I just took a picture with a fish with my clothes on, because I was just I was like, there's no need for this. Like that's not helping me in any way.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. So like
So
we actually touched on like towards like mindset kind of stuff, but like towards your lifestyle, like how is your like your Monday to your Sundays nowadays? Because you talk about like you go do some home workouts, that kind of stuff, and then
yeah.
you thinking of doing the podcast. Are you kind of like researching or what's or not? Yeah, what's up, man?
So I usually wake up about So I usually wake up about 9:30,
Right.
and because I like to sleep.
Yeah,
Um,
I know, right?
so I wake up like 9:30, come out and like see my family, and then me and my brother will go and do some workout, right? And then we come back and then have some breakfast, uh, and then it's kind of up in the air after that. Like
Right.
it's just random, really. Um, it maybe could be helpful to be have more structure, but um, so far I haven't been. I mean, I haven't done necessarily that much research on the podcast
Right.
lately, just because this is not like something that's super complicated to me. Like this
Right.
is what we're doing here is just pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I have been trying to do some research on my writing because I want to get better at that,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And so I've been watching some videos. I watched a video recently, like this last week, and then I downloaded a book by Stephen King on writing. It's called On Writing, and so I'm gonna start listening to that audio version of that.
Right.
So I've like just the past few days decided to start because I realized um, identified the weaknesses in my writing, and well, I've known them, right? Like dialogue for me, I can write really good action scenes, right? But whenever it comes to like dialogue, I struggle with that. And so I'll write and in my short stories that I write, I'll avoid the dialogue. I'll just do something to where they don't have to talk, right?
Right.
So that you can't improve if you do that. So now I've been I'm trying to do some research on how to write good dialogue so then I can attack that and just instead of writing short stories where I avoid it, just write page after page of dialogue, you know. And
Right.
then
Cool.
then usually I'll go to bed like 12 o'clock.
Right. So it's a lot of like focus towards like your writing kind of a thing, and then like workout and just do some random stuff.
Yeah, I want to start doing like a podcast a day or maybe more, but so far I haven't gotten there yet.
Right. 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 It's pretty much like the rest of the day is just kind of like chill, yeah. Like do
Yeah,
some random stuff.
yeah, just kind of
I get you.
being mad at myself that I'm not doing more.
Right. 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 I get you. I get you. Like
What have you
yeah.
been doing?
For me, most of the time it's because like right now it's like during the weekdays I got to kind of like work for 2 to 3 days a week from this
Yeah.
coming week onwards. Yeah, I'm in the military service, and yeah, so just the 2 to 3 days. Also, it's only like recently that they kind of implement that because of the virus kicked in, and then
Mm,
yeah, I think I will want to. Yeah, I will want to. It's not like I'm kind of like doing like I will want to be trying to like do more of like journaling because I everything it just comes down to kind of like convenience. So like this morning, I just woke up at like 6:50 a.m. and then I was feeling quite down. To be honest, I don't know why. And then I was like
hmm
thinking, okay, I want to keep myself in check, like kind of like assess myself, like how am I actually feeling? I'm feeling upset. Yeah, I gotta be super honest with myself. Like in the
Yeah.
past, I don't feel like I will be honest with myself, saying that, oh, I'm upset. No, no, no. Then I will kind of like say no. What the other part of my brain will say, no, 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 you're not upset. Like what the hell? Like
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
rejecting the feeling, and I
hmm
don't think that's kind of like good. And right now I just feel like I should just kind of like accept it that yeah, I'm feeling upset, that kind of a thing. And I do some kind of like a voice journaling. So I have like a mic right over here, so I just pop in with my phone. I just do a voice journaling onto my audio podcast, you know. So I
hmm
just pop it in, and you can find it in right over there, like me feeling very grumpy, and it's a lot of like talking to myself, assessing myself. Why am I feeling upset? So
Okay.
what's my purpose today? What do I want to do? it's a lot of random stuff. It's like not a very tactical or kind of a thing that I learned from YouTube or whatsoever, but I just felt that it was like a good move for me to kind of like know why I'm living. Basically get myself into this gratitude mode and to like why should I be dwelling about life when I have this opportunity to be alive. 400 trillion to one, the
Mm-hmm.
chances
Yeah,
of being
exactly.
alive
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff. And then
yeah.
I kind of like talk myself, and then I found like purpose and life this morning, and then I just straight up go to do my routine, brush my teeth, do whatsoever, and just go on with the day. And
Nice.
this is the one of the like the first time kind of like doing it, and I'm loving it. So
For sure.
yeah, I think
Yeah, it seems like a
right.
smart thing to do. Are you
Right.
posting that?
Yeah, I posted it on to my audio podcast, and
Cool.
I think it's a pretty I'll say it's a pretty shitty podcast episode, but I think for myself, selfishly for myself, it's a good goddamn good podcast for
Well,
myself.
yeah, it's
Right.
like therapy, right?
Yeah,
It's free therapy
I feel so good about it, like I'm
for
feeling
sure.
good about it. Yeah, and
That's all that matters.
yeah, while I was kind of like doing it, like I don't like think of like, oh, how are other people is gonna like listen, like people who are gonna like tune into the podcast episode, how are they gonna feel or what's or not. I wasn't thinking about that, man. I was just boring with my podcast, like just talking about my feelings and
Yeah,
what's or not, and I just
yeah.
I just feeling so alive and all that right after that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I
Mhm.
might have to steal that kind of format
Right,
from
right,
you.
right. I think it's a lot come down to like having the confidence, like just straight up take out your phone and just record and
Mm-hmm. For sure.
like got to be easy, like I just feel like when there's like friction, it's hard to do. Like you will kind of like I will kind of like feel lazy to do it. A lot of things I just feel very lazy to do it, but when things are when I thought of it as being easy, I can just pop it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I
Right.
recently I've been thinking about so my sister I walked in the other day and my sister was like doing some dishes,
Right.
and I was like confused why she was doing them, um, and and my mom said something like she was reading a book called um, "Sabotaging Happiness" or something like that,
Right.
and or you're sabotaging your happiness, or no, self sabotage is what the book was, and so I haven't read the book, right? But I just from hearing what the title was, I kind of it allowed me to gain a little bit of a perspective, right? And basically thinking about everything that I do every day that is self sabotage, right? Like if you procrastinate, right? You're just self sabotaging, right? Like you're doing something, and I could be doing something more, right? Like you can't you're aware, like I should be doing something else, right? And you just go and put it off, right? You're self-sabotaging, you're preventing yourself from being as happy as you can be. And there's one guy I follow, his name's Brad Lee, and he has like a podcast. And one of the things he shared before that I like the perspective of, he basically was saying that um, you your subconscious hates you, right? Like from all this lying to yourself and all these things. Um,
Right.
like the way he delivers the video is a lot better than whatever I could do. So I'm just giving the gist. So basically, he's saying that you subconsciously you hate yourself, right? Your subconscious hates you. So then it doesn't tell you it hates you, right? It sabotages you. It's like, oh, you deserve a break. You should watch more YouTube, or you deserve that bad food or something, right? And to sabotage you to prevent you from being as good as you can be. So I've just been trying to look at the things that I do that are self sabotage and say, fuck that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's I can kind of relate to it. I can feel what you're saying right over there. Like the subconscious mind. I just feel like it's kind of like uh what is being inbuilt to us like since a very young age. Like listening the things that we kind of like listen. our society, parents or friends or
Yeah.
whatsoever that is playing inside our head. And I'm saying that it's part of me right now, like, and I'm thinking about like just being very conscious about your thinking, which is why I kind of like back to why I like doing this voice memo shit. I feel like whenever I kind of like do that, I feel like I'm very active. I'm like consciously thinking so that the subconscious mind doesn't take over me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, by being very conscious, I'm just like taking actions based on what I really want to do. It's not like just following the flow and be just sticking around with friends or whatsoever, which I have such a bad habit on kind of like doing that because
Mm.
I feel like in past, like whenever I mean like right now as well, whenever I hang out with my friends, I just feel like I'm kind of like just sticking around and not really like consciously thinking and just like I just feel like in a friend group kind of a setup, like there's always a few people who always like take the shots and like leading how the group should be thinking about like those,
Mm.
especially those very extrovert kind, those like always state their opinions or what's or not, and we kind of like people like me got to like stick around and just like, oh yeah, I should follow that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
just feel that
Yeah.
it's just
Hmm.
such a not a good thing for me, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Just like people, for myself, like a being more introverted kind of a guy. And what I realized is it's just like not worth it, like
You need new friends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I just feel like this is something that I got to be more like cautious about, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I got to be thinking about, yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about, like how I gonna like stick around with like different environments, and how does it mind fuck me in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
right.
It's all about having friends that will, build you up and have you grow rather than, you know, dumb you down or make you hurt inside. Right.
Yeah, as much as that, I just feel that kind of like need to hang out with different type of group of people, like not say like this group must be like all rounder, this guy got this group got to like uplift me, got to like help me to reach my goal. I just feel like different groups have like kind of like different purpose towards our life, which makes life so much more interesting in a way.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
some groups is maybe for having fun, and then some groups is to uplift my mood whenever I'm down or sad, and another group is for this or that, uh,
Do you have that many
yeah,
friends? I
right,
don't.
yeah. I just
I don't
kind of
got
like,
I don't got multiple groups of friends.
right, because it's in the military setup,
Oh,
we
okay,
have
okay,
like a bunch of boys right
okay.
over
Yeah,
there,
that
man,
makes
like.
sense. That makes sense. All right.
Right.
Yeah,
So like I think this is a quite a like a good thing for me, in the sense that I get to like hang out with so many people, and
for sure.
just to like think about all this like subject matters.
Hmm.
It's a good thing for me. I'll say it's a good experience. Although I've messed up or fucked up a lot of stuff. Uh
Like what?
in the like I just feel like in terms of like personal traits kind of a thing, that like my behavior, like say there are times where I speak to people, I feel like I have ego, and then
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of
Okay.
like reflect about it, that I should start to put my ego aside, or like
Hmm.
making fun of like my friends whenever I shouldn't, like make fun of
Yeah,
him, and then I that person like felt sad or whatnot, and then I kind of like felt bad afterwards. I just feel like there's a lot of fucked ups in a way, that as long as like I think that I'm learning and reflecting about it and looking at the big picture in a bigger perspective, I think that's what's helping me, like progressing bit by bit,
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what really matters is learning from it, right? Like, I mean, we all. I mean, that's you just basically just said that you're human. I mean, come on.
right,
Like we all mess up, we all have egos. that we're, well, I mean, not all of us are trying to overcome them, but it's good that you are and I am too, right? Like I have an overactive ego that I'm trying to get past. Um, and I have realized lately, so
Right.
like if I'm in a conversation, right,
Right.
and I'm having an argument with somebody, right? Sometimes I'll leave the conversation like feeling just bad inside, right? Like, and is like a dispute, like an argument. And if I leave the conversation like with this like this the feeling is like kind of like not anxiety, but it's just like a weird feeling inside, like a little bit of anger towards
Right.
the conversation in this. And I realized recently that I think that feeling is because you know that you're wrong. You know that you were the wrong person. You were in the wrong in the conversation,
Right.
right? So now you we're trying to convince this person of your side of the argument, but you're also really just lying to yourself. Like you're trying to convince, like you're so caught up in the argument that you've been pushed to one side of the thing that you're arguing, and now you know that what you're saying isn't true, but you're not aware of that whenever you're saying it, right? Subconsciously, you know that that's not actually what you believe, and so whenever you leave the conversation and you have this feeling inside is because you're still battling with yourself. Like you're trying to say, "Oh, that person is a bad person in the conversation," when you know that it was you that was like you were there was part of you that was in the wrong, and that feeling is, I think, coming from just you trying to maintain that lie.
Right. I think I kind of like get that, like um like this type of a thing. It's like as you were like talking about it, like I can kind of like feel that it's an emotion kind of a thing that is very hard to describe it. And I
Hmm.
just feel like this type of experiences just got to kind of like experience it more and then try to understand about it and uh do more of like what we are doing right over here, like talk about
Hmm.
this matters that we kind of like experience. And I just feel like there's so much good things like doing this whole podcast thing, because we are actually like talking about it. When we talk about it, we are like being active with it, like we are very conscious about it, and like it plays out afterwards in life. I feel, in my opinion, that whatever we talk about, like whenever we go out there, like after today, go out to do our stuff, we'll be thinking, I actually mentioned about that, like why not me, like become the bigger person to do the right thing at this moment.
Exactly.
Like let's not wait it
It feels
another
better.
time. Right. Right.
Feels better.
Yeah, it just
Like um, you think that you're basically like you whenever you don't do that, you're just your ego is protecting yourself. Your ego doesn't want to be wrong, right? Your ego doesn't want to admit this. And so it's actually but it's hurting you because you know that you're wrong, right? And just ego just ruining everything. Um I it's funny, I made a tweet about this, but
right.
I said that it's a really frustrating thought when you realize that if you truly apply empathy, you can never justify staying mad at somebody, right? So if you have an argument with somebody, and even if the person is like in the wrong, right? If you're using empathy, you can't stay mad at that person, right? Because they're coming from their own background, like they have their own stuff that they're going through in life, right? And basically they're just doing them. And so if you're actually applying empathy, you can't stay mad at them because that's how they see the world, and they thought you were in the wrong, right? So if you truly apply the empathy, you can't stay mad at them.
Yeah.
And that's just like whenever I was trying to apply this because I had like a little bit of a dispute with somebody,
Right.
and afterwards I wanted to stay mad, right?
Right.
But then I had this thought, and then I was like, damn it, I can't I can't justify to myself staying mad because I know that it's a wrong belief to have. Like I know that if I'm actually being empathetic, that I can't stay mad at that person. And it's really hard to let go of the anger, but once you do, it feels so much better.
Right. I just feel like having empathy is like you being able to like look everything in the big picture, like you are like pretty much like understanding a lot of stuff that is going on during the conversation, during the dispute. I just feel like it's such a big thing. Like it's such a wonderful like strength to have, like being
Yeah,
able to see the bigger picture than anything else. Like trust me that like I it's not like I don't want like everyone to like have this empathy skills. I want it for everybody, like it will make the world like so much of a like a better place, like everyone won't be like way too absolute whenever they talk about stuff. They will be like
for
thinking
sure.
about like how the other person was like kind of like feeling, and it will
Yeah,
make the conversations that people have will be much more meaningful and much more happier, I'll say. Yeah.
yeah. It's funny because recently I've been applying this sort of like psychoanalyzing like things within arguments, and for me, it's kind of entertaining almost now to watch an argument play out because I can see like that person's ego acting up and that person, like that argument is an argument of the ego because everyone is so insecure that then they're lashing out, right? They're trying to take it and put it on somebody else. And that's what we all do because we all are insecure, right? So a lot of inability to effectively communicate is just stemming from our insecurity, right? Like from our inability to let the ego go and to understand that we're not always right, right? And even if we are right and the other person's wrong, like not practicing empathy to understand their point of view and why they believe this, um, like if it just negatively affects you, right? So if you can uh, apply the empathy and they're wrong, but you understand that they're coming from just what they know. That's their mindset. Like that's all that they have learned, right? And so if you approach the conversation in that way, you can have a more productive conversation than rather than like being demeaning, like, oh, you're so dumb. Like, how do you not know this? It's like, I
Right.
understand that you don't know this, and now I'm going to tell you in a way that's doesn't to trigger like your ego to say fuck you.
Right.
Like
I just feel that so much, man. Yeah. So I mean like this whole podcast thing, I'm doing it for like 30 minutes, and we had run through like 30 minutes already, and I loving it so much so far. And I hope that like I can hear more from you, like maybe afterwards like this talk or after today, like you kind of like do more experiences kind of stuff, like you working on your podcast kind of thing. Yeah, I
yeah,
can't wait
for
to
sure.
hear from you, like what's gonna be popping, the writing stuff that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just would love to hear about that. And so like any like one last few thoughts that you kind of like wanna like talk about, like we can have. Yeah.
um I don't know, really just I mean, just lately I've been like, so my I think my podcast is going to be
Right.
kind of like I want to try to help people, right? So
That's
I
good.
I feel like I can give people good insight by. So I used to be real, like I guess you would say, um, politically leaning to the right, right, like fiscally and all this stuff, and I was in a place of like basically I was killed on my emotions, right? And so I talked about this last time. And so I was controlling all my emotions. And so I was just thinking from a place of logic, right? I wasn't thinking at all with my feelings, right? And now I've come more over to understanding feelings and empathy. And feelings is like what makes life worth living, right?
Right.
Because if you just don't feel, then you're just hollow for your whole life, and that's who wants that, right? So, um, but since I started on the side of just thinking logically and then came over emotionally, I feel like I can give um, good advice to people by basically taking what they're experiencing, emotional issues, right, and applying logic to basically overcome this issue, but understanding the emotion part of it. So basically, I think a lot of my stuff will be like asking people like what's going on in their life. The thing like a lot of stuff like what Gary Vee does. Like people basically go on there to ask him stuff to like help their perspective, right? And I feel like I can help people in a similar way to what he does. Obviously, I'm not where he is in life, but I
Right.
feel like sometimes his message kind of misses the mark for some people because he's such a high performer, right? He's always been a high performer that everyone else that's not, sometimes it's hard to understand what he's like. All of us that are want to be, but we're not there. It's hard for us to like. He's basically speaking from no experience of the
Right.
because I feel like he's been a grinder his whole life. He talks about it all the time, right? So the people that want to be that, that aren't the natural born killers or whatever, some of his messages might miss. And I feel like someone else who's going through the same things, that can basically give unique perspectives to people, and relate to them on the same level,
Much more
can maybe
context,
help
yeah.
give a different sort of advice for them, because
Right.
they understand it. And so that's what I want to try to do.
That's cool as well, and I love that a lot. And it's just like basically it's like sharing experiences and insights about having more context, because like Gary Vee, it's always like like natural born, like what so not like hustler, that kind of stuff. So you
Yeah.
wouldn't really have like a context of how a person who is not being a grinder, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
whenever like people from that kind of a point like share their point of view, that kind of thing, like people will be able to find it more relatable, and it's
Exactly.
just so much
Exactly.
easier to like move on from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll share. Oh, sorry. I mean, I'll share my perspectives from basically like self disclosure. Like, yeah, I'm going through the same thing, and this is how I'm dealing with it, right?
Right.
And I think that that could be helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, cool shit. So yeah, with that, like really happy to like converse with you once again. It's always like I just feel like this is like kind of a catch up kind of a thing that I kind of like
Yeah.
mentioned to you, and I just feel so good. Like once in a while, like kind of like converse like our thoughts, our feelings, our lifestyle, and our mindset. I think that these are the few key aspects in our life that plays a huge important role, although it's like not it doesn't cover every aspect of our life, that kind of thing that kind of like improve us. But I feel like it's kind of like one of the few key things in our life that help us to move forward to our goal, get more active and conscious and thinking about our goals, so that we can kind of like main thing is to take the action, do the things that
Yeah. Yeah.
we
For
really
sure.
want to do. So yeah, I have a great time,
Sure.
like I feel like I'm feeling it, man. I talk about this stuff, and I feel like I'll be more thoughtful and more conscious about the things that I'm gonna do, and I just gonna pound onto the things. Yeah. I
For
hope
sure.
that it goes well with you as well, like you having fun as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. For sure. You too.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for doing this. I'll see you, man. Have a good one.
See
Yeah.
ya. You too.